2019 started out like any other normal hunting day. You know, we have a hunting lease, and it's 40 acres inside, like I said, Casaccia National Forest. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening. And so we have different stands over there. Some of our stands are climbers. You can get in and climb up. And then we have some that are leaning tubes. And we have them all over that particular part of the area. And then we have some that are actually box stands. Now, we only have about 4 that are actually box stands that you can go inside when it's really cold. And we go inside and close the little door, and you can put a heater on and stuff like that. And then we have 3 sides that we hunt out of, and they're normally they are shooting lanes. And so we have shooting lanes that we have on each side. So one's in front, there's one to the right and one to the left. And in the back is a door, so we don't, there's nothing back there. We don't have a window. That part's just closed off. And so it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm sitting there and actually had my cell phone. I was sitting there playing with it a little bit, waiting for it to get a little bit darker. And normally right at dark is when the deer move. They start coming out and getting. And we have wheat planting, ryegrass and stuff like that out there, and clover and stuff. And so I was waiting for a deer to come out and just play with my phone. And all of a sudden I get this really high pitched noise in my left ear. And it's to the point where it was almost moving. And then all of a sudden I look over and I see my 30-06 is leaning in the corner right there, and it starts vibrating. So I grabbed it, and when I did, I caught movement out of my left eye, so I turned to look. And I see something that looks like a black stump. And it's a pretty good tall stump. It's about 6 foot high, So I grab my phone, and I pick it up, and I take a picture. I zoom in the best I can. And when I look at the picture, I said, man, it looks like a person, So I get some binoculars that I have, and I pick them up, and I start looking at what's there, and I can see movement around there. To its left, there's a little bit of movement, stuff going. I said, what in the world is this? So I immediately put the binoculars down, and I pick up my scope. And so, have you ever heard of Redfield scopes?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Redfield, I think they're in the Oregon, Washington area. It was where they're made at and stuff. They're really good scopes, okay? And I have it on my 30-06, so I picked it up and I looked. And when I looked through the scope, I seen something there, and all of a sudden I see this face, and his face is really, really oily. And right when I looked at it, I knew that it wasn't a person. I knew immediately it wasn't a person.
Jeez.
And I looked at the eyes, and the eyes are orange, like where you would have blue eyes or brown eyes or green eyes. They were orange and like a starburst yellow. Okay, beautiful eyes, but the skin was very, very, very oily and black. Didn't have a whole lot of hair around here. Just had a face. And the nose looked like a normal person. It really did. The hair, you could see it was hair and stuff, but on shoulders. Now, shoulders were broad, very, very broad. And it was black hair all over, but the hair was actually kind of thick, like it almost had an undercoat on it. And when I looked at it, it wasn't dirty either. A lot of people talk about how a lot of times they'll see a Bigfoot or something like that, but they see the fur on it or the hair on it will actually be matted and stuff like that. This wasn't like that at all. It was actually very clean. And when I looked at it, all of a sudden I catch movement to the left. And so I take my rifle and I swing, or it's left and to my right, so I move it over. And when I do, I see this other thing, and it's like walking up, and it looks up like this. And when it does, it's about 2 foot long, and it's a huge, when I say huge, it's a really big head that looks like a German Shepherd.
How far over was that,
So
Scott?
Say again?
How far over was that?
It was about 30 yards from me.
Yeah.
And so,
okay.
Yeah, and so both of them in some pretty thick brush back there, but you can see the face is really good. Now,
Jeez.
the width of the Bigfoot was, I would say, probably about 4 foot, maybe 5 foot wide. And this Dogman wasn't quite as wide. It's probably about 4 foot wide, but the muscle, I could see the muscles on it because it was standing up. The other one was kind of squatted down. It was like squatted, like you squat down and look. It was behind some brush, and I really couldn't see the bottom part of that. But when I took the picture, I seen all of the legs, and you could see the body and everything. You can see the head pretty good. But when I looked at that Dogman, as soon as I turned it over, it started mind speaking to me, which I've never had happen before in all my years living. Never had anything like this happen to me before. But it told me, it said, put the gun down right now. I'm going to come over there and tear that building up and kill you. And I was like, what? So all of a sudden I'm in shock. I don't know what to do. So there's a bunch of emotions coming at me too. I mean, there's a load of emotions coming at me. First, the Dogman is trying to send out emotion to me that's making me like shake, like it's really cold. You got really, really cold. You start shaking. You start going to convulsions like that. It did that to me. Then all of a sudden, another motion came at me, and it was the Bigfoot saying, "No, it's peace, calm, it's going to be okay." Then what the next strange thing that gets even weirder was they started kind of arguing between each other. Like the Bigfoot was telling, like, be still, leave him alone, don't fool with him, leave him alone. And all of a sudden the Dogman says, no, he's pointing a gun at me. And I can hear all this. This is what's really, really strange. I can hear all this stuff. Okay? And so I didn't know what to do at this point. In fact, I kind of lost some time because people asked before, have you lost time? I said, well, kind of, you know. And at the time, it was probably a little bit after 6 o'clock. And when I left and got away from there, it was closer to 6:30 because the sun was going down, okay? And it goes down kind of early in that time of year and everything. But anyways, I'm sitting there looking at them, and I'm just in shock because, number one, I see a Bigfoot. Then number two, I see some tall, at the time I didn't know what it was, okay? So I didn't know what all this stuff, actually what it was when I first looked at it. And when I seen that Dogman, I looked at it again, it was like it really wanted to try to come attack me, but the Bigfoot is trying to hold it back to calm it down, like it wanted to launch at me, okay? And so all of a sudden, a different voice came to me, and it said, leave now. And so I reached over, got up. I don't know how, I just got the courage. I got my backpack that I had, I put it on, I grabbed my rifle, and I started walking out. Well, as soon as I started walking out, I took the safety off the gun. I said, well, it's not a good thing to do this, but if they come, I'm going to start shooting. So I had to parallel them. I walked out the side entrance to the right, and I had to go down. I had to actually follow the one shooting lane that I had and start following them out. And when I got back, I got to my golf cart. I have a golf cart that's gasoline powered. It's all jacked up and everything. And so I have a golf cart, and I was sitting there waiting for my cousin to come around. This was right at 6:30, okay? So there was a little bit of time that went by there, and I heard him crank up, and he just come flying out because he was ready to go, you know. So anyways, he passed me up. And that time when I was walking out, though, I could hear them following me out. When I was walking in, and I counted, it sounded like about 4 of them walking out with me. And so they were parallel, walking right on the side of me, just where I was going, they were going. And when I got to this big clearing, this opening, which was like an old laydown area where they used to log at and everything, I was sitting on my golf cart and I had my gun ready. And I just looked at the woods and I said, if y'all come out, I said, I'm going to blast you. So I've got plenty of bullets. And I said, y'all come out. I said, you might kill me today, but I said, I promise you this. I'm going to shoot you at you and I'm going to kill some of y'all too. But they never came out. Never did. So we cranked up. We left out, and I was supposed to stay for the weekend. And I remember not saying anything to anybody at that time, and I was really scared. And so I said, look, I need to go home. There's some things I need to take care of. And they're like, what? I said, why are you going to leave? I'll stay with my cousin up there in North Louisiana. They said, why are you going to leave? I said, well, second some things came up. I need to take off and go. So I just grabbed all my stuff, came home, walked in the door, and my wife was surprised. What you doing back? I said, well, I got to talk to you about something. She's like, what? I said, yeah. I said, something happened. And she said, well, what happened? Did somebody upset you or something? I said, no. I said, something crazier happened. I said, I seen something in the woods. So she's all eyes now. She's looking at him. She goes, well, what happened? I said, I seen a Bigfoot. And I seen something else, but I don't know what it is. At the time, I didn't know what a Dogman was. I never even heard of Dogman. And I said, and talked to me too. She said, what? I said, yeah. I said, mind spoke to me. I said, it got inside my head. And I said, it started talking to me like that. But there wasn't any it's like it was telepathy to me. And she was like, oh my God. I said, yeah. I said, this is crazy.